So this will be the last portfolio update of the year. I'm making this video on Saturday. I think it's Saturday the 30th. Now, this trading week was, it was almost significant. We had some pretty decent moves. Gold closing above, was it 2070? I thought, oh, that's significant. But, the volume was very light and you can get some false signals from sort of these trading holidays where you just get some sort of, I don't know, the candles are a bit strange sometimes, and we'll go through that. So, but now I think it's makes more sense to make a video now. And before jumping into the miners, and there are some important points I'd like to make on some of the miners, but let's start off with the DXY. For me, you see here, for example, you've got this sort of 25th of December. Obviously, that was a trading holiday, so nothing happened. But look what happened the next day, 26th of December. You see this candle here, actually, starting off here on the 22nd. That was the Friday. I said it's not really bearish or bullish. It's not bearish because even though we flushed the level, look at the close, pretty good. Close just below the low of day of those. So I said I'm leaning towards just a little bearish. But because of the bounce from the lows, you couldn't say it's that bearish. Next day, nothing happened. It's a holiday. Next day, this is significant, right? The 26th, which is a light trading day. Look at that close there. Now that followed through perfectly. It just continued, on the next trading day, the 27th, and went all the way down to 100.8, 101. We absolutely kissed it perfectly. And I always said 100.8. Why? Because look at this low here. So technically absolutely perfect. Now the next day we actually go lower, and you can see we basically touched this low here. It really does work, give or take 1 millimeter, but we bounced and we closed nicely. That means this entire level here, I call it the 100.8/101. I've spoken about it before, including this period here. It's a level we're bouncing. And, in the next day, here we go, the last trading day, 29th February, yesterday, we kept on going up. So basically, we've bounced from the 100.8 level. This is a huge level. This is the most important level for the DXY at the lows. We only flushed it once, and after flushing, we bounced all the way up. Now, this was all rate hikes are coming, rate hikes, we need to price them in, blah, 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 and up we go. And now it's rate hikes are over, and actually rate cuts next year, 2 or 3, whatever it is. We need to price that in. I still think we need to go visit the absolute low, but this is quite a drop, and I do expect maybe a bit more of a move. Like we could, medium term, long term, we're going here. Sorry, we're going all the way down here, 99, and then we're going to flush 9. That's what I think. But we could go a little higher and test this descending. So that's something I'm thinking about DXY. We've touched a very important level, 100.8/101. It's really 100.8. And I expect a bit more than a sort of 2 or 3 day bounce. Next year also, there could be, the first trading day of 2024, you could have some sort of anomaly. I think we could bounce a little higher. That's my point. We could bounce a little higher, but I don't think we're going to take out this descending. And if we are, we're not going to do it in one go. So I expect sort of this move. Bounce a little bit more and then down. And then if we do go down, we go down to here. So DXY, very nice, came down, but we've touched a very important level. I don't think you're allowed to just go straight through this. So far we bounced. I expect to go a little higher, touch the descending back down. So DXY, that's all I want to point out. And just before jumping to the gold, the GDX and all that, let me just show you interest rates, because just like the dollar, come down a lot. And I'm just going to show you the 30 and the 10 year. Actually, let me start with the 2 year. You can see the 2 year is actually quite weak. Look at this weakness. But as you keep going down the curve, 5 year, a little stronger. Doji here touched a nice level. Not the strongest level, but still 10 year, even stronger. Okay, and 30 year is a bit like the 10 year actually. But still, the 10 and 30 year, I just feel like we could break out of this descending. At least retest this area. I think we've come down a lot. I understand why, but nothing goes down in a straight line. And so far, we've kind of done a straight line. So I expect a bit of a bounce, and that could coincide the DXY. So what I'm trying to say is interest rates and the dollar could have just a little 2, 3, 4 trading days move up and then resume the downtrend. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe interest rates going lower. I need to clean this chart. It's just too messy, actually. I think there are quite a few trend lines I can get rid of. But the point is, little bounce and then come back down, and then we'll see. Maybe it doesn't go lower, actually. Maybe it goes just a little lower and it starts to base a little bit, and rather than descend, just sort of grind sideways. So watch out. Yields come down a bit too much. Dollar also come down a bit too much, maybe small bounce. Let's go to gold, silver, and then the miners. Gold. this was what I wanted to make a video on this day and say, guys, we closed. This is the best close ever, ever, ever. You zoom out, you see this sort of high around 2070, but we never closed above 2070. You know, even on this day where we screamed up to 2150. I mean, it ended up being a big red day and we carried on lower, but look at the day preceding that one here. It was closed around 20, it was around 2070. Point is here was 2075.6. That was the highest close in history. You would expect it to keep going up, but you know, thin trading, DXY bounce, so we retrace, but this is nothing. For me, this is the handle of a handle of a cup and handle. It's just, this is totally set, you know, cup, another cup, a handle, you know, whatever way you want to look at it, but we are going up. I think we need to close basically above 2080. 2100 would really do it, and then absolute unnecessary double tap to the face would be 2150. I mean, we're going to get there. So maybe I do think that the dollar and interest rates could just 2 or 3 days up. Maybe we go back down to 2040, right? Something like this, just a little extra retracement, and then we make the last handle before we basically just squeeze up. You know, it could start 2024 with an almighty squeeze. So gold is totally primed to go. Silver, before we run to the actual miners, you know, weaker than gold still. It's kind of been the same story for a while. I mean, look at this. You know, we went lower than we have in a long time. I mean, several trading days. So that's not nice to see. And you really expect to see silver outperform gold to give you that sort of bullish mentality. But who knows? If we keep going, honestly, if the dollar and interest rates go up, you could go just as low as 23, maybe even pop your head below 23. I'd like to see a close above 23 if that does happen. And then I think as soon as gold hits, you know, 2080, 2100, I mean, this thing is seriously lagging. But I mean, there's all that much more catching up to do when we get to 2080, 2100. I think there's going to be a squeeze. I mean, that's really what makes a squeeze. So, but silver notably underperforming. Okay, miners. Following, okay, here I'm looking at GDXJ, following kind of silver in the metals a little bit, makes sense. This is also a mini handle, if you will. It's you know, if the dollar and interest rates go up, then yeah, this can go back down, but I don't see us going all the way down to, let's say, 35. I think that's a bit too much, although that would be absolute support because of this here and because of the ascending for GDXJ. Otherwise, I just expect a little bit of a drop, maybe this low here, right? 37, big round number, little low here of this one, maybe there, then bounce, then we curl. And it would be nice to see the miners outperform the metal at that point. That would give a little bullish edge. GDX, similar. Look at that, though. That's actually a bit better, isn't it? I mean, that's not a green day, but that's still a close better than the open, despite it being red. But that's okay, you know? So it's nice to see some dip buying. That's what that is, really, some dip buying. And if dollar and interest rates go up a little bit more, we could go down to here, you know, this low here, maybe even 30. Why not? Big round number. And then I want to see a nice bounce. If we do keep going down, then a bit like GDXJ, I expect the lows from here to coincide with the ascending. So around, let's say, just below 29. Okay, just below 29 for GDX, just as for GDXJ, it would be 35. I think that's what that is. SILJ, I'm trying to cover that one now because that's the silver miners, junior miners. Similar chart, makes sense. If we do drop, I don't think we're going to go all the way down here, although you'd expect that to be, you know, doing worse than GDXJ. I don't know, maybe 950 or something. Let's see. But anyway, I'd be following more the GDXJ and the GDX to judge that. Okay, minus done. Oh, by the way, on the upside, you can see on the upside, look at SILJ, look at this horizontal line. You know, didn't close above it. We didn't really break out of this descending, this all-important descending. Look how that works out perfectly. You can see where I've got both trend lines. The descending didn't really close above it. I mean, that doesn't count. I could be off by 1/10 of a millimeter. And just to double confirm it, let's have a close before the last time we went all the way up here. Let's call it 1060. So really a close above 1070, you know, to be sure for SILJ. GDXJ, by the way, similar stuff, you know, where's that close above? And it would really be this line here. It would be this one here. So we want to close above this high candle. Why not call it 40? So GDXJ really needs to close above 40, and GDX, similar stuff. You see that close there on that day, that, yeah, but you didn't have the follow through with gold and silver, and the DXY was reversing. So let's call it 32. Did you close above 32? No, you didn't. You were at 31.9 something. See, it makes a difference, the big round number and the close. So GDX, and you know what, because of what we had last time, I'd say a close above 32.5 is probably what you need, or at least above that high there. So that's my take on the downside and the upside for the miners, gold, silver, and then you got the DXY and interest rates. With all that out of the way, let's move to the actual miners. And by the way, I liquidated 1 or 2 because I wanted to clean it up. I wanted some spring cleaning before 2024. Some of them went up. I'll go through that. It was K92. It went up. I was in the black. I was in the red for a bit, and I just thought that money was better elsewhere. And it was also USAU, a junior that I've never really covered here, US Gold Core, I think it's called. That went up. I was in the black, closed it. I prefer that money elsewhere. And I thought there'd be a bit of a retracement, which actually did happen a little bit on Friday. So let's start with Newmont. Another one where you can see how the descending works absolutely perfectly. Look at this kissing, this licking of the descending and never closing above it. So Newmont has, you know, just proved how technicals really are useful, let's say. So it depends, you know, I say, first of all, I see this gap here. So if we do have the dollar and interest rates rising, on the downside, I'd expect, first of all, this area here, 40.50, let's say, 40.5, the low of these two candles, also a 50-cent level, and then the actual gap close, 40, big round number, big gap fill. This is a bit of a magnet. So if there's any downside and a bit of a drop to be had, it will love to close that gap. And then, yeah, it's a bit of a drop. And we've also got that ascending line, by the way, in the GDXs, which may come into play. So imagine a drop. Maybe it takes 1 or 2 days. You know, I'd expect a bounce off here. In case we do go lower than the drop, then the gap fill, we could have a little bit of a drop here, maybe low 39s. And then I'd expect it to bounce, you know. This, by the way, is irrelevant. So, and this also is irrelevant. So there you go. Those are the lines I'm looking at for Newmont. Let that sink in. What I really want is a close above this descending, but this horizontal, is that really? Yeah, that's kind of correct. And it's a big round number, 44. But still, a close above 43 would probably be sufficient to give this what it needs to say, okay, we're done. Now we're really moving up. And then, of course, this level hit 46. I'm just wondering whether this really is, maybe not. I'll just leave this here, actually. There you go. Let's do that. For me, it's really a close above this descending because that would probably mean it's 43. And clearing the highs of these candles, 43 for Newmont. And then we're really good to go as long as gold, silver, and everything else is adhering to the general direction. Barrick Gold, first of all, it closed unchanged. Now, a lot of them did, you know, Newmont's hardly down, not even 1%. Agnico-Eagle, same thing. But still, it's nice to see a black unchanged day when you know silver's down, gold's down, and all that. So I think this is prime. Plus, it's bouncing at a nice level. $18, that used to be resistance, didn't it? Hence the horizontal line. And it's closing above it after dipping below it. So I like what I see. Obviously, we'd need to close above 18, let's say 55-ish, to really say, okay, we're clearing all the previous resistance. Because, you know, this will be resistance, 1850, 55. So that's the next level you want to see. And I really don't see any resistance until 20. So I agree with the next horizontal line being 20. We should really make sure it's 20. Otherwise, we have this ascending line generally, which should be support, just like GDX. It makes sense. Newmont and Gold and Agnico-Eagle probably all have similar charts because they make up the GDX. So there you go. If we go lower, I'd expect maybe 1750, this little level. And if we go lower than that, then the ascending, I don't see us going much lower. If we do, it'd be the low of these candles. But otherwise, the high, 1855, and then 20 on the way up. Agnico-Eagle, absolutely very similar chart to Barrick Gold. Really same sort of close, basically unchanged. Resistance equals support, closing above support. That's nice. If we go lower, then probably this level here, 53.60. You can see it was support, it was resistance for the last couple of candles there. If we go lower, then it'll be the ascending line, although it might be of a greater incline, to be honest. So, and then this, I'll put it in the middle. There you go, generally that line there in case Yeah. So you would want to close above, well, above 56 would be good, but preferably above the highest candle here, the high of this candle here, 56.50, let's say. And since you're so close, let's just clear the descending, you know, like a 57 point something close would really say, okay, descending has been breached. I mean, this is not the best descending. It'd be better if it touched all pivot points here, and it probably touches this one here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. 1, 2, 3-ish, 4, 5, because of what happened recently. So, you know, let's just close above 57 and then you're good to go. You could probably meet one more resistance on the way. 60, big round number, also the high of this area. But then it's probably squeezing along with everything else, because by then gold's above 2100. And then why the hell would you be short a stock like Agnico-Eagle at this level after it's really proven that? Because I mean, if you're squeezing here, and this goes for all the other ones, it really means that you want to go all the way up to the high. That's what that means, or at least almost. So you probably want to go to 75 or 80. And you've got gold making new all-time highs, and then you start looking at the, you know, all-in sustaining costs and the margins. You're like, wow, this is a great business. You know, that's why these seniors should really guarantee a move all the way up to their last highs. Like, if gold is making new highs. So I would not really worry about upside potential once you start closing above the descending. That for me is the best chart to play. It's very, very bullish. So there you go. I think a close above that area. And then, you know, you'll have some pit stops on the way, 60, and then maybe this one here, little pit stop, but I don't think it'll do much to prevent the magnet move all the way up here because of the fundamentals to gold and silver. Pan American Silver, you know, not the worst day, because silver was down and miners were down. So, and look at this, it bounced off previous resistance. This is the line I already had, so you can see why I had it. Pretty decent bounce off the lows. It's okay. It's a bit of a dip like everything else, to be honest. If we move back up, we'll be right back up testing 17 in 1 or 2 days, maybe even just one. And what do you need? Well, we just need to close above 17. We still haven't done it. Look at that, just below. It makes all the difference. We popped our head above, and that's nice to see intraday, you know. But in the end, you give it all back or you close just below, and you can't be as bullish as you would be if it was above 17. So, and again, you know, you've got this horizontal line, and yes, closing above 17 is nice, but it's really the descending. Look, I zoom out, and you can just see, like all the others, really, you just want to close above that, and then it's just, I don't know how mathematically how I can summarize how much more effective it is to close above a descending, but it's worth twice as much to me. It's just, you know, I've been trading like 15 years, and closing above the descending is just a great, you know, the likelihood of the continuation of the move is just so much higher. So let's close above 17. Then I expect a little head bounce, you know, hitting your head against this ceiling of this descending. But once you close above 18 or whatever it will be by then, you're good to go to 20, a bit like Barrick Gold, straight to 20 basically. And for that, we need to go up. And to be honest, silver's chart doesn't look that good, if you remember. So I think Pan American Silver is kind of outperforming silver. I'm just guessing, but I think the chart looks better. You know, it's more likely to reach this horizontal resistance. And as soon as you close above 17, it's just kind of a clear path, almost to 20. So yeah, I think it's outperforming silver. On the way down, by the way, I suppose this area between the lows of these two candles, just below 1550, and if it keeps going down, the ascending, and if it keeps going down, the low of these two candles, 1430-ish. I don't think we'll get that low though. Okay, Wheaton, this one I have very little left, but, and I think I said this in my last video or the one before that, I want to buy back in. And I was saying that when it was higher, so, you know, I didn't chase the top, if you will, although I didn't buy this drop because, again, I still think DXY and the yields could go a little higher, so maybe we do go a little lower, but this is a good dip buying stock. I don't think it'll go up as much as the others, so that's the reason I sold it, but I'm trying to reform my portfolio so that I have, you know, 4 or 5 seniors, 4 or 5, 3 or 4 royalties. That would be Wheaton, Metalla, the other one? Jesus, Franco Nevada. And maybe there'll be room for one more, but at the moment there's only 3. And Wheaton I've sold, right? So I kind of want to have 3 decent royalties. That's why I want to buy back into Wheaton. And then, 4 or 5 seniors, and then 4 or 5 aggressive silver stocks. And I think that'll do. I'll just add more to those because I'm going to be getting rid of so many more miscellaneous ones. So yeah, I'll reform it, and then I'll probably do a video just on my new portfolio, like a special video on that. But the point is, I want to buy back into Wheaton. I do think that I can get it a little cheaper, definitely than now, because I think the DXY and interest rates will have a little pop, maybe first 2-3 trading days of 2024 before gold really starts to squeeze very early. I think that will happen. So on the way down, ascending. First of all, the low of Friday, that's the first thing we need to take out, close below. You also have this sort of area here, let's call it 48.50. So the low of Friday / 48.50, that will be a general area of support. I really think that to be true. If we go lower, and I think we will, and I hope we will, then maybe 47.50-ish, because it's a 50-cent increment level, but this ascending line, definitely there's something there, roughly. And if it goes even lower, then probably 46-ish. Around 46, but I don't think that'll happen. I'd like that to happen, but then I guess the whole mining sector has just lost a bit of support, so maybe not. Now on the way up, the old high 50.50 seems to be a bit of a level between 50 and 51, really. But 50.50 seems to be a bit of a level. Then once we clear 51, which is itself a bit of a level, it's the last high, then it should go all the way up to 52.5, and then we're just making new. Oh no, sorry, we're not making new all-time highs. Then we're going all the way up to the old high, 58, the absolute high. So Wheaton looks good, but how much of a percentage move is that? Well, it's quite small compared to the other ones. That's why I sold it. So that's Wheaton. Franco Nevada, one of the other royalty ones. This looks good. This is what I like about descending breakouts. This is not the cleanest descending breakout. It didn't last that long, which makes it less credible. The breakout was on a bit of a gap. The retest wasn't great, but look at this retest here. There's like 2 or 3 retests, but look at this. It hits the descending, closes nicely on a bad day, which is good. This looks like it just wants to go sideways up. So this looks very strong, and it's a great stock, and it's been destroyed, and it's not warranted because the amount it's gone down is more than the justification, like mathematically, that they've lost an asset maybe, which is 25%, whereas the drop is more. So, and Rick Rule likes it, that'll do for me. But technically, nice sort of breakout, the descending retest, and it should just grind up. Now, if dollar index and yields go higher, we could go back down easily. The stock wants to go up, but external factors say otherwise. And then I would expect if we lose this sort of 108.5-ish level or 109, we probably can go, 106, because that was a bit of a level then, and it was a big level then, 106. But we took it out here on these candles, so it kind of negates that. Otherwise, the old low, 104 to 102.5, but I really expect heavy buying down there. This is a great stock, and I think that's the low. Now on the way up, it's this high here, 114, nice round number. It was the high that these 2 days it hit. And then after that, I've got, consider this a mini level. You can see it was support, and then bam, we flush it, but we never retested it. So 114, then I would say 116, but to be honest, if we're closing above 114, we're probably going to go a bit higher. And then it's hard to judge. It's, maybe this level. You can also see this low here and this high here. But I would probably be watching GDX and the metals, because maybe we've just made new all-time high breakouts, and maybe it's going to go a bit higher, like all the way to the 126 level. That's where it broke down from, this level-ish. And who knows, by that point, I'll probably start to draw this descending to say, okay, let's see what else we have. And look how the descending works perfectly. We've got 3 pivot points. So, and yeah, how long does it take? Because if it takes a bit too long, we may enter a double resistance line. So that's what I see for Franco Nevada on the way down and on the way up. I like this one, though. I'm in no hurry to sell this one. I just bought it, and I'd like to hold it for a while, what I bought. I don't really want to trade too much too quickly, because I think we've got massive moves in 2024. I think we're in the right sector, and I think historic highs will be made. And I think, at least if you're in the seniors and the royalties, you're more likely to make money. Okay, Metalla. Now this one has been, this is interesting, you know, we've had this nice pop before the others, I would say. First of all, I think I've lost a line here. Thought I had a bit of a descending line. No, I know it became irrelevant. Okay, so this one, it's moved up nicely. We had a bit of a mini breakout and then it came back down and it's been weaker than the others. Look at this, the last trading day has just been going lower lows, lower highs, doesn't look good, except on Friday. Look at this Thursday, close at low of day, didn't look good. I was like, all right, this is your level. Very obvious. It was the high here, here. It was support here, here, here the whole time. If we flush it, we gap fill, then let's see what happens. Except we closed green on a red day. That's bullish. We're also at level of support. That's bullish. It's also a good stock and it's been destroyed for a while. That's bullish. I think this will go up. I think it may even go up on a red day, or it may be flat on a very red day. If I take something like the 15-minute chart, yeah, look at this. I love this. This is, you know, again, the descending, my favorite chart pattern to play. And on the 15-minute chart is even better. You know, look at this. There you go. Because this is a bit of a freak move, but here it becomes a bit more credible. It hits that. You know, as soon as we close, let's say above 310, for me, it goes straight up to here. 320, that's easy. But again, if that happens on a red day, that's even better. And to me, it kind of wants to go back, you know, once that happens, 320 close above 320, 335-ish, 340, no, 335-ish. And then, yeah, I can just see a bit of a coiled squeeze, mini squeeze happening here. And then it's very quick to revisit the highs because it's been destroyed. Lots of shorts in there. And lots of momentum buyers. In fact, I may even buy a bit of a pop above 315, even though I've kind of bought quite a bit of this. I see it. So Metalla looks good on the way up. Not much resistance at all, honestly. I'm looking at the daily normally. So honestly, I wouldn't consider any of this resistance. You could have little pit stops intraday, but no resistance really until you're at 350 to 360. Because it's the old high, not just the high intraday, but the sort of closed daily high. So 350 to 360, and after that, absolute vacuum here until 4. Nice round number. So 350 to 4, 2 levels, 350 and 4, nothing in between. And then we'll see. Then you probably got some other descending lines you can draw in. Well, we don't need to do that yet. So Metalla looks good. I like that one. And since I only have 3 royalty companies, I might have to add to all 3 a little bit. Definitely Wheaton. Okay, now let's go to the silver stocks. You're going to see them getting just, you know, my portfolio is getting smaller and smaller, let's say. I mean, the weightings are heavier and they will get heavier, but it's just a shorter list. There are some that you can't see here because I accidentally deleted them, but yeah. All right, First Majestic. I always go through First Majestic first for the silver stocks. Looks like the silver chart a little bit, right? Bit of a red one. But still, it's a green. I mean, it's you know, the close is better than the open, but it's still a red day because the close was lower than Thursday's close. So, you know, don't get confused by the color of these candles. But otherwise, it looks okay. I think resistance is really 650. You know, we did pop our head above, but we closed below. So a close above 650 is what you want on the way up. Then after that, I see $7. I remember this one, $7. A close above that, and you're really resuming the squeeze, which kind of started a little bit. Just got there's a bit of a pause there, interfered with external factors. But once you close above 650, you should run to 7. Once you're above 7, it's 8. After 8, it's 9. After 9, it's just under 10. So that's nice and easy. I don't think that's changed. On the way down, there is an ascending line you could draw, nice and rough. We're almost there. So first of all, the support is going to be 6. Nice round number. It was the support last time we were there, and also Friday's level. If you close above 6, this ascending is too steep. You probably doesn't matter unless the GDX or GDXJ or SILJ hits its ascending, and that will probably translate into a support for First Majestic. So First Majestic, I'd really be looking at the general index, SILJ, GDX, gold and silver. Those will probably help for First Majestic. Otherwise, there's really after 6 nothing until 550. You know, I could take out this descending line because it's irrelevant now. It's just an easy reminder of why this is probably a more significant move. Okay, that's First Majestic. Fortuna, one that I've lost apparently. That one is also, you know, they've all got the same sort of charts, but for Fortuna is quite good. I think overall it's better than a lot of the silver charts. Again, it's a blue candle here. And by the way, you notice how I changed the color of the candles. It's just so that it's easier for you guys to see if you've got, I don't know, dark themed backgrounds or something. I just thought it'd be easier. But still, even though there's a blue candle, it was a red day because the close was lower than Thursday's close. But, you know, it still is to bounce a little bit. On the way up, I think we have $4, I would say, but really between 4 and 410, resistance around there. But to be honest, the next resistance is 420, which is so close. So I would say between 4 and 420, you got resistance. Nice and easy. There is a 5% move between 4 and 420. I think my math is correct. But yeah, you know, $4 is a big round number. It's kind of resistance. It was resistance before also, but then 420 is the absolute high of this area here. So between 4 and 420, we've got these candles here that went to 410. So I don't want to say 4, 410, 420. I'll just say between 4 and 420. After you close about 420, 460, and after that, yes, you have a small gap over here, but there's probably a bigger move going on elsewhere. It's probably straight to 550, go past 5 without caring. So Fortuna really close above 420 is what you really want to see, and that can happen quickly. It's on a bullish momentum. They had good earnings. I think the bias is to the upside here. You just need the sector to help you. If you close below Friday's low of 375, I think you can go to the low of 350. And if you close below that, you could actually, the descending line does count here because we haven't really retested it yet. You could go back down and retest the descending, and the time it takes to do that, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days, you're probably going to hit this double level of support. So let's say between 320 and 330. So that'll probably be your support. And after that, just a low down here. So that's Fortuna. Let's look at EXK, the worst of the worst. Now, the only thing it's got going for it is that it's been destroyed and it's coiled to pop. But I mean, there's so much selling. But I mean, it's a bit strange selling this. I actually want to get rid of the XK because I don't like it. I think the money is better elsewhere, but I can't sell this coiled spring, which to be honest, will get a sympathy push higher. I mean, if silver starts to move and the miners start to move, CDE's up 10%, Fortuna's up 8, you know, First Majestic's up 8. One of those big days, EXK is going to be up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13% also. And I think that's the move you probably want to, not that there may be some continuation if there's a really big squeeze, but you know, when it hits its next major level of resistance, then I'll probably eliminate it completely and then just cut the proceeds and spread it into another small silver stock like First Majestic, like CDE, which does tend to move better, not have so much selling. I mean, I've learned my lesson in a lot of these stocks, and not just in the metals sector, that if a stock just keeps getting a lot of selling pressure, it's better off elsewhere. And if you are lucky enough to experience a 10, 15, 20, 25, 30% move in it, just sell it because it will go back down unless something fundamental has changed. So I'm looking for a big pop. I will take out half or 100%, not in one day, but I will be selling into a big move. And I just spread the proceeds into a sounder company and stock. You know, sometimes you have good companies, but bad stocks. And here we've got a bad stock. I don't know about the company. I don't think it's great, but I'm not really an absolute specialist in all these miners. I just like to trade the stocks. And I can tell you the stock is not the best. So on the way up, I think the levels stay the same. The descending has remained amazing resistance. By amazing, I mean it's just really efficient. So you need to close above the descending. And to be honest, closing above these candles here, like 220 would be enough. Maybe even above 215 would probably do it. And then you got your next level, which would be so close, by the way, that once you close above 215, you're probably guaranteed to visit 230. But yeah, then 230, you know, close above that, maybe Yeah, then the descending, this horizontal line here and coinciding with the descending. So I think all these lines remain absolutely perfect. They've done a good job. Support is going to be, we're so close, aren't we? 190, look at it, we're trading below 2 right now. It's pathetic. 190 after that, it's the low 183, but remember, zoom out and you can see why we have this level. There was a mini level there. And if we close below 180, Lord forbid, we're going all the way down to probably 50 actually. So a long way down. Doesn't look like much, but that's a long way down. 150 to 135. And I don't see that happening unless the dollar and the yields really rise, which I do see happening soon, you know, for a few days. That could take us to 180s. Wow, it's such a crap stock. So there you go. That's the upside. That's the downside. It's really depressing going through EXK, but that's why I spread the money and the risk, because imagine I had everything in EXK, my goodness. Okay, CDE, this is a fantastic stock, especially when everything goes up, but we had a little red day, so we've dropped, and you can see, look at that, Thursday closed below this level at 332. We continued low, we filled this mini gap, doesn't really count, but you know, closed off in the lows. I think CDE is just fine. It's just fine. We're going to have a bit of a curl. You know, if DXY and interest rates go up a bit, we'll come down a bit more. The next level of support, by the way, is between 290 and 280. I think I've said that before. And I think it's actually worth putting in this line here, because I just feel like it might actually do it. And if it does, it could go to 290 or 293 and then bounce. And you know, if I've got this 280 and I miss the whole adding to it, that could be annoying, because I think this one will go all the way up again. I think we'll make new highs very quickly in 2024, January. I was going to say February, but no, January, I think we'll make new highs. And if we do have a drop, then CD in just 2-3 days will be all the way back up to its highs of 370, and that's a nice 25% move. So if we do come back down, I see 290, 280. If we go lower than that, maybe 240, I'd probably be watching the metals and the mining ETFs, to be honest, at that point. This ascending, no point, too steep. We've already sort of touched it, so I'm not going to do that. It's just too steep. And on the way up, yeah, the old high, 370. I don't think 334 is really going to be a level. It's just too easy to breach. 370 after that, yeah, right up here. I don't think $4 is anything. So there you go. Those are the levels. Nothing's changed. Love this stock, especially when everything is going up. Now, the other one, which reminds me of it, is DSVSF Discovery. Hasn't been as strong recently, but that's a decent candle given the Thursday candle. So that looks like it's just holding this level here. I think where it is a bit of level of support. Let's call it 55, 56 cents mini level. If we go lower than that, then yes, this horizontal 50, big number, also the low. So where we are as a level, 50 cents a level. After that, 45. After that, 45-cent increments. 5-cent increments pretty much at the moment. Now, if we go up, I'd love a close above 60. Nice number. Also, haven't really had a close above that in a long time. And then 65 would be the best, because then you're guaranteed to visit the all-important 70 cents. Once you take out 70 cents, and maybe I'll do a little extra line here. Once we take out 70 cents, it's on. It's on for $1. That's what I think. I think you are going to have a squeeze that will last multiple days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and you get to $1, which is basically 100% move from where it is now. And I think gold will allow that to happen. Gold on its own, not even silver, despite the name. There you go. Those are the levels. Keep it simple. Love Discovery. Okay, now we're going to the miscellaneous ones. Aris Mining. This is one that I would keep, actually, even though I'm reducing. I want to consolidate my list of miners. This is one of them that I will keep, that you don't see on my list here. Look at that, just made a new high recently, you know, so you can see it's still bullish. It's had very good news. It was higher lows whilst everything else was making lower lows. It's been really biased to the upside for weeks, months. Very good stock. It's got a lot of potential to go up. I like to do that zoom out, even though it's a bit deceptive. So you know, we're in this big sort of, this is still a bullish channel, this whole area here. I think it could, you know, levels, I think, remain correct. So 310, I mean, we kind of disrupted that level a bit by bouncing all the way down here, but that was also a level. So for me, yeah, 310 is a very, very small level of support, very small. I could just go there, roughly there, a bit below. And then if it wants to continue lower, 290, just below 290. If it continues low, which I don't see happening because it's just made a new high. But if it was, that means the whole sector is just getting destroyed for whatever reason. Inflation is higher than expected and interest rate pauses or drops are not going to happen, something like that. It's possible. Then all the way down to 260 or even ascending support at that rate. On the way up, more realistically, on the way up, the old high, let's call it 353. And, you know, it's true. Now it's only 350. I'm not going to pretend that the old levels still count when they don't. It's the old high, 353, 350. And 365, the high from all the way back here, which is so close to 350 that it could probably happen all in the same candle. So there you go. Those are the two mini levels of resistance. And once we close above, let's say 370 to be sure of it, all the way up we go to, you know, 450, 480, whatever. That's a huge move, but I don't really see much resistance. And I think if gold is making a move to 2100 and starts to go to 2150, this is one of the stocks that will just say, okay, that's it. Let's go. Magnet up. So I like that. Okay, Mag Silver. This is another one that, like EXK, is just annoying me. Just look at this. So close to the lows. I could even draw an ascending support, which is not the best. I mean, support is, yeah, ascending support, but really that could lose quickly. Then you've got $10, big round number, also generally support of the last couple of times we visited that area. I know we went below it, pretty much 950, but you know, let's zoom out. It's pretty much 10. Once we close below 10, or let's say 950 because of that low down here, this thing can just, I mean, that's a big move down, $7. You'd really need the whole sector to have a problem to justify a move down there. I also feel like moves down below 10 probably find some late buying and it closes just above 10 because it's not really justified. It had decent news. I just don't understand why there's no follow through. There was a nice move up here, which I didn't sell into, but I haven't bought, I haven't traded this in a long time. I just want a bit of a big move, and then like EXK, I just want to liquidate it, and I prefer my money in a different stock. I'd prefer it all in Newmont. All in probably makes sense to do it now, even at this low, but it's just a weakness I have that I still have is that I like to sell on a move up, even though deep down I know the money in Newmont, if I was to zoom out and look back 4 months from now, you know, it's probably still worth it. But anyway, you know, I would say the support is pretty much where we are, just below 10, 950. This whole area, there's probably only a couple of percentage points between the 950 and where we are here, 8%. You know, you zoom out, it's the same thing, because a couple of months from now, we're either all the way up here, or I don't see this happening, but you know, all the way down there. I don't think we're going to be where we are now. So let's say $10, between 950 and where we are now, 950 and 1050 is support. On the way up, I see these two candles, this 1120, 1120. I see that, you know, if we start to move even above 11, I see 1120 as mini resistance, but trust me, it will be. That's just the way things work. And then I can't even explain it sometimes, but it's just, it will be. And if we start to close by that, 1150, pit stop, maybe. But really nothing until 12. And once we get to 12, then we're so close to this descending, which is resistance. Yeah, I mean, it depends how long it takes, because then you got this descending, yeah, which will be resistance. But once you close above this descending, then we can move. And I've mentioned this a lot. 1350, I see, is the first real level of resistance after you clear the descending. And it might not be much resistance because we could have the whole sector on fire because of new historic highs in the metals. But then, yes, this horizontal, I don't want to look too much further than this because this thing is so crap that if it's all the way up here, I'm probably going to be really excited, but I will sell into it because I don't forget how weak something is. And I think, you will have a retracement at some point in the miners, in the metals, whilst they're making new historic highs. And this will be the kind of stock to, let you know that there is a bit of a top and it'll come back just like it did here. Yeah, it's nice. It's breaking out and then all the way back down. And I don't want to hold this as it goes back down. I prefer that money elsewhere. Okay, I spend too long on MAG. Every time I talk about it, it doesn't deserve that much attention. Let me look at Gogold. That's the next one. I think I'm almost done after that. It's just one more, and then it's the subscribers. Gogold. By the way, K92, before I forget, I dropped that. That's why it's all the way up here. Look at that. I sold that all the way up here. 666, some devil stuff. I just got rid of it. It's good. It's probably gonna break out and continue going. I just, this was one that I bought ages ago. I was kind of in the red. It bounced nicely. I was in the black. I forgot when my average was, like low sixes. So I just wanted to get rid because I see the dollar index yields going up, and I thought this come back down. And it did its job. I didn't lose money. I made money, and there you go. I just want that money elsewhere. I also want a bit on the sidelines just to earn a bit of yields on my dollars. Anyway, that's some strategy stuff, but I bring that up because Gogold and this one went well together. I bought them on the same day and they had similar charts actually. This one visited up here, but I didn't sell it. I don't think I was watching, or maybe my good till cancel sell didn't fill just off by 1 millimeter, probably 1 cent, because I usually sell just 1 or 2 centimeters off the last high. But whatever the case is, I didn't sell it. So here it is. I do think that, let's cover the resistance on the way up. This is no longer resistance, by the way. Resistance is the old high, the horizontal, the 113. It also coincides with this descending. So this will be strong resistance. Plus we have to go back up to visit it. So I think 113 to 115 will be strong resistance. I should sell half there because this one I also want to liquidate. I prefer that money in, I don't know, First Majestic, Newmont, whatever. But I do like this chart because I love the descending, and you can see this is really the coil and pop. So I'll probably sell half here or a third, and then I'll wait for a continuation of the pop. And I think when it's done, when I feel like it's exhausted, I'll get rid of it. So I'd say 113, 115 because of the two lines, horizontal and descending. After that, 130. After that, we'll see. I'll probably sell into anything if we go higher than 130. We'll visit that. On the way down, this old support down here, let's say 86, maybe just before, between 90 and 86. I feel like 90 would be support. That's a bit too much of a drop. And then after that, this absolute low from 76. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Right. Okay, the last one I hold, the SBSW. There you go. Okay, I'd never covered my juniors. Okay, I always say SBSW because Sibanye-Stillwater just sounds weird. This is a palladium platinum play more, but I mean, look at this. I like descendings. This is the mother of all descendings, and it broke out. I was buying it here in the, I think it's mid 40s or something, and I added to it a little higher, high fours. So, I like where it is. And this doesn't look like much, but these are big moves, even down. Even if it wants to fill this gap and retest the descending, no problem. I'll add to it actually if it does that move, but that would be a big move down too. For example, where it is now to, let's say, generally 450s is almost 20%, but I'm cool with that. It's just back to average. So where's support on this? I would say here, $5. It's the low of these two candles, also big round number. After that, it's going to be the gap fill, let's say 470, but also by then it's probably between 450 and 470, which should be support because it's the descending. Yeah, the descending, which should be support, retesting the descending, and also the gap fill. So 450 to 470, and then $5, those two levels. Generally, in fact, the whole area is a general level because you should be giving this a lot of distance. You don't want to be buying at 5, buying at 470, buying at 450. I mean, I do think this is pretty low, but that's pretty aggressive. I mean, what if you're wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if it goes to 4? What if it closes below 4 for whatever reason, and go visit the COVID lows of 350? Now you've bought everything in this area. It's just too much. So, you know, make it light buying if you're going to do that, or just space it out between 5 and 450. But anyway, I see those levels, and of course, like I just said, after 450 it would be 4, and then it would be 350. Nice 50-cent increments. Otherwise, on the way up, 580, right? That was the last high for the last period. After that, if you close above 580, forget 650, 7 a little bit. Why? Because of these candles. Also support, so 7. Also all the way back here, look at that. Support, gap, resistance, support, resistance. So $7. But I still think 7 is a bit, yeah, it will be 11. I think 8 is more. 8, you've got resistance here, but look how much further out it goes. You know, it's like support from here, support from here. As soon as we lose it, bam, we never revisit it. We revisit once and it's resistance, and we'll go back down. So I think 8 is bigger. So after 580, I see 7 and 8, and it can keep going. Okay, that's my entire portfolio. I don't go through my juniors. There were some that you don't see here, but I've covered them. Let's go through subscribers. EGO. I haven't even looked at EGO, but this one I'm quite impressed with. Straight away, I can see a bit of an ascending move. Look at this. That's beautiful. Touch. But, you know, we're getting quite close. So look, it's like a cup and a bit of a handle. So a move back up would really suit this perfectly. So let's just cover the upside, actually. If you close above 1350, maybe 1360, you go straight to 1450. There you go. And once you take out 1450, then well, I think you'll clear until 18. I don't think 15 is anything. I mean, it's so close to 1450, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Here, no, not really. Yeah, there'll be a little stop off because it's a mini level, but I don't see, you know, here's where you get the clutter. 18, between 18 and 19, basically before 20. 20 actually isn't a level. It's really 19-ish. So here, you know, you get some days where it pops its head above, closes below. So after 1450, you're basically clear until 1880, 19, just below 19. If I say 19, I mean below 19. And after that, well, we'll see. You know, we'll do another portfolio update, weekly update before then. But after that, you're good. I mean, and you zoom out even more. This is such a good stock. I don't know about the company, but the stock is good. I mean, look at this. We've been in this sideways grind between, well, that's a large sideways grind, but you know what I mean? Once you clear this 16 area where we're basically there, and you've got the perfect catalyst, you've got gold and silver making new highs, then you start going into crazy territory. But I'm sure there's dilution. I'm sure there's a bit of a story behind this, but this is one of the few stocks where it's come from very low numbers to, you know, higher numbers, and it looks like it can make back a lot of lost ground from a long time ago. So this is a good one. It reminds me a bit of Aris Mining that I just showed you, ARMN, but I used to own this like years ago. I think that's what all these old lines are. You can see how I love the descending and how it's worked. Anyway, EGO looks great. On the way down, okay, you have the ascending support, but you're quite close to it. You know, look at this. It's so steep, and the incline is, I feel like, you know, once you close below the ascending, whatever level that is, I mean, whatever number that's at, then you can go, you could come back down here, because this has made quite a decent move, but it's justified. Yeah, I think next level will be 1180. Yeah, the low, basically the low, this candle low, 1180, between 1150 and 1180. You know, look at this high here, 1140, this high here, 1150, but that's quite close to each other. Yeah, between 1180 and 1150. You know what I would do if I owned this? I would just do this, like this. These are my levels. And if we start closing below 1150, something chaotic is going on in the general sector, then I'd be like, all right, we could go back down to 10, just below 1050, this level. And I think that'll do for the way down. So this is a good stock. After that, we've got Hecla. Yeah, look at that. That little 520 level never got really closed above. And now we're back into the descending. Yeah, so let's cover the way down. So the way down, I've got this level here. I think that's generally agreeable. 440-ish, right? Ish. Every time I say something, it's give or take 10 cents or whatever. So 440-ish, 450 to 440, definitely. Once we close below, or if we keep going lower, then I mean, it's not going to go all the way down because this is going to find some strong buying down here. But I think between 4 and 350, 360, you should get some strong buying. There's no way it's going to go all the way down like that. I mean, we just came out of a double bottom with strength. So, but yeah, I'd say 440 and then 4, yeah, and then 360 on the way down. We tested descending, kind of, but we're just back within the triangle, so maybe no longer the case, actually. On the way up, let's have a close above 520. Then we can run to 6, between 6 and 620. There you go, 6 because it's a round number and just because of this one here. And once you close above that, then back to the old high of 7, nice round number, an absolute obvious old high. There you go, those levels for Hecla. B2 gold, not great, is it? I see this little crocodile mouth coming in here. Just feel like it will break one way or the other soon. Yeah, I mean, this needs to close. Let's cover the way up. It needs to close above 330 just to push out of this little, and you know, test the old high of let's say 350 is great resistance, but 345. So it's got to clear 330 at least, because look at these red candles. No close or anywhere near 330 for days. There was this one here. But look at that, 330, close above 330, then you can visit 345. Once you take out 345, then we can go to 380. And not even, I don't like this stock. I don't like it. It's weak. It's a bit like MAG. Honestly, I forgot who asked me to cover this one, but I would really, you could have a nice green day if everything goes up, but I would get rid of it after a nice move up, to be honest, and buy something else which has more sticking power. On the way down, this ascent, you know what? I disagree with this line I drew. I think the horizontal's better. Yeah, this level at $3. $3, even though it's probably $2.98 or something. $3, buy just above if you really want it. After that, 280. And after that, then you've got really good support actually. This one here, even I might buy that. This 240, but that's not good. You've just lost all the major support from before. I mean, it would bounce from here, but get rid of it quickly. Like when it revisits 280, get rid of it. If it does, you know, flush to 250. There you are. Okay, SSRM. This is the new request. These are old lines I used to have. You can see how much I love the descending. So first of all, the good news is that it's cheap because it hasn't had a big move up like quite a few of them. But that's also a bad sign. Let's do a more zoomed in descending. Reminds me of Franco Nevada, actually. Well, we have a bit of a double bottom attempt here at least. You know, we've come down here, moved back up here. First of all, if this takes out this descending that I've just drawn, that's good. That's a nice move up to, I would say, 1250. You see that 1250? Yeah, that's a good one. Look at this line here. Yes, I also mean 1250, but it's 1260. Go on, let's do an average between the two. There you go. Let's clean it up, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of the old line. Those are the lines I'd be looking at for the way up. Close above the descending, pretty much going to squeeze. Yeah, normally 12 should be resistance, but I have a feeling it'll go up to 1250. So between 12 and 1250. But to be honest, once you're closing above this descending, you're already 1140. Who cares about 12? You'll go on a very small one here. There you go. Above the descending, then 12, 1250. And then you're hitting this descending. And then we can start moving even higher. So this could move up quite nicely and probably outperform a lot of the others if there's a big move up because it's got so much catching up to do. Even if there's justification for this drop, there's going to be some sympathy play in this. On the way down, well, there's only one level of support, isn't there? On the way down, it's that's the COVID low. Yeah, it is. It's just going to be the COVID low, $9, big round number and very obvious. And after that, it's probably $8 because of this area here. And let's just draw that in case. I'd say about here. There you go. That's it. Keep it simple. So on the way down, we have $9. We have $8. I don't think it's going to take out 9 because that's the COVID lows. And I think the sector is going to do very well before we get there. On the way up, let's take out the descending. After, I expect intraday at least resistance at 12. After that, 1250 is definite resistance. You can see from these periods, even though it's a little higher. And then, yeah, this area here. And then you got the major descending. That should be resistance also, which should coincide. Close above that, then we'll talk after. But I'm going to keep this on my list. That'll do. I hope that was nicely detailed, transparent, and not too long. There's no way to really cover all the stocks I do in the detail I do without taking a bit of time. So sorry about that. Enjoy Christmas, New Year's, and look forward to January. Let's absolutely scream up in January. I feel like miners will really, I think the metals will do well, and I think the miners will do some catching up. So, and I'll do some more videos in 2024. And I'm gonna try and do some editing and all this special effects stuff that a lot of people do. I'm just learning how to do that. It's not my forte. So anyway, enjoy the weekend otherwise.